The Ragnar Lothbrok replica Viking axe. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. The website said so. Welcome back to the channel, guys. It's Wes, Dave, and of course, we are Midgard Axe. How's everybody doing? How's everybody's week started? I hope it started great. I know me and Dave are excited about this weather this week. Low 80s, and I know Dave's appreciating those cooler nights when he's out here on watch. We're ready to get into this with you guys, and we have a ton of axes sitting in the house waiting to be reviewed this week. Some that I bought, some that were sent to me. But guys, I have got a ton of axes to get through, so let's get into this axe here. I'm gonna get into this with you guys. Do your own research, okay? I know a little bit about this stuff, and I'll give you my opinion and what I understand and what I know, but take it with a grain of salt. Do your own research. From what I understand, there is very little historical information on Ragnar Lothbrok. There is a little bit from the 800s, from the Anglo-Saxon chronicles, but we don't know a ton. We don't even know if King Aelor actually did capture him and throw him in the snake pit, which the snake pit poetry came from. It's all myth, okay? There's not really anything saying, yep, that happened. So to say that this is his historically replica Viking axe, I think is a huge stretch. Now, if they wanted to say that it's a replica from the Viking TV show, I would totally understand that and say, cool. But to say that this is a historically accurate Ragnar Lothbrok Viking axe, I think is a little bit misleading, because I don't even think that we have information on what axe he used. All Vikings at some point in time had bearded axes. The Danes had different, had the different pattern, but most of all Vikings used a bearded axe. And there's some speculation on whether or not they used actual bearded axes in battle. Some people say they did, some people say they didn't. It depends on what historian you talk to, depending on if he's from Sweden, Norway, Iceland, whatever. I'm not getting into all that with everybody and starting a holy war here. That's not what I'm trying to do. All I'm saying is that I think it's a little bit much to say that an axe is a Ragnar Lothbrok historically accurate replica, because Dave's right. That's not true. Bam, 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 shots fired. Whatever. It is what it is, guys. I'm just telling you. Norse mythology and Viking history is not well known. We're still finding stuff out. They're still finding stuff out about Woden and the Germanic people worshiping him in the maybe before BC. So who knows, guys? There's a lot of stuff out there. We don't know a lot. We know a little bit, and a lot of the stuff that we do know is from the Eddas, which was written by Snorri. Christian influence his writings. We don't know. I'm just going off what we do know, okay? All right, guys, so what we have here is the Ned Foss historically accurate Ragnar Lothbrok replica Viking axe, okay? So, getting into this thing, starting with the sheath first. Guys, this is a really nice sheath, okay? And before I get into this, Ned Foss didn't send this to me. I bought this with my own money. Nice sheath, guys. Really nice sheath, nice leather. It's intact all the way around. The rivets look like brass rivets. They're all the way through. None of them are loose. It covers the entire bit. Snaps nicely, unsnaps nicely, and when it's snapped, there's not very much movement in this, so it's a nice sheath. It does have some, looks like some scroll work done on the sides, on each side here, which is kind of cool too. Not bad, guys, not bad. Not bad at all. And of course, what do we do on this channel with sheaths? We toss them, we don't need it anymore. All right, so let's get into the specs of this thing. Lengthwise, 15 inches. Head length, 5 3/4. And I weighed it on my scale, and it weighed in at 1 pound 7 ounces. Bit, let's see how long this bit is here, and we have a tape measure keeps moving, sorry, 6-inch bit. Nice big 6-inch bit on the front of this thing, so that's really cool too. All right, guys, so the head is made out of 3 CR13 MOV, which is the same steel that was made out of the other throwing axes that I did a review on previously. And the bit is nice and straight. Okay, nice and straight. And it's decently sharp. Could I get it sharper? Yeah, of course. But it's not bad. It's not a bad edge on it. I will say too that the edge, they do say on their website that you can chop and split with it. And I will say that the edge on this is probably good for both. I don't know if it's good. I haven't thrown this thing yet or tested it out, but I will say the edge looks like it's a little bit fatter. So we'll see how it works out, but it does look like it replicates an edge that you could kind of do both with. Now, I don't know if I'd use this to split with. It is a very light axe, so I would probably use it for more throwing and cutting. I don't know how much splitting I would want to do with this thing unless it was a very small log. But this, to me, this seems like maybe like a small chopping axe and a more of a throwing axe, and maybe do some chopping work, but we're going to find out. It does come with some laser etched symbols in it, and they're pretty deep into that metal, guys. You have the Ned Foss logo in here, then you have some scroll work here, some more scroll work here, and then they put a Volkmut in there. All right, so getting into this handle, it does have a nice profile to it. I do like that swooping back profile, which is really cool. But like I said before, guys, this thing is way too thick. They could have thinned this down. I think the thickness of the handle is a little overkill for me. Now, acacia wood, that's what this is acacia wood. I've done some research on it, and I knew a little bit about it. The hardness on acacia wood varies from below beech and ash all the way up to above hickory. So it depends on what tree it came from. They have small leaf trees, they have big leaf trees. The small leaf trees, from what I understand, are the ones that are registering up into like the 2200 to 2300 range for hardness, which would be awesome if this is what this is. I don't think it is, because it does feel very light. So if I had to guess, I'd say it's probably down a little bit lower range, and it's probably underneath ash and beech. If I had to guess, just looking at it and feeling it, I would say it's probably in the lower range of that. So we'll throw it, we'll see. If it's below ash and beech, I believe that's too brittle for a throwing axe. I think that would split easily. So, but we're gonna test it and see. I could be wrong. Maybe it's the one that's up there in 2200 range, but we're gonna find out. All right, guys, so like I said before, this thing's weighing in at 1 pound, 7 ounces. Feeling it in my hand. The weight is evenly distributed, okay? The head is not heavy very much at all, and it does feel very light to me. That doesn't mean that it's a bad axe. I'm just saying, I'm just giving you my impression. It does feel light. And I think once we strip this handle down a little bit and get it down to where it needs to be, I think it'll feel a little differently in my hands. It's really hard to tell you exactly how I feel about it, because that handle is very annoying. I don't like the handle. It's too thick. So I got to thin it down first, and then I'll give you a better impression on it. And I'm sure it'll take a little bit more weight off, but try to keep the weight on there as much as possible. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to thin this back area to kind of bring it in a little bit. We'll see. They did splay the handle over nicely, and they did put a little baby steel barrel wedge in there, which is nice. It did come with replacement steel barrel wedges too. Came with like 3 or 4 of them. But all that being said, guys, I can tell you what I think about the axe. I can tell you what my first impressions are, which is what this video is about. But in this video, we're going to do a little extra. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and thin the handle down, and I'm going to throw it on camera for you guys and kind of go over what I think about it right here with you, and throw it for you, and give you my feelings on how I feel about how it throws and how it flies in the air. So let's get to thinning this down really quick. Then we'll move to the front yard and throw it and see what this thing has to offer. Yeah, that's about good, guys. I'll probably hit it a little bit more on the sides here, bring it down just a little bit, but that's good right there. And I kept that shape. I wanted to try to keep that swoop to the back, which I got. So almost there. Just a little bit more off in here. I think we're good. Of course, it started raining when I started working on the handle. All right, guys, so what I did was I went ahead and thinned the handle down. And what I'm doing is I'm using the trans tent. It's called Honey Amber, to try to recreate that stain that was on it before. So I'm going to continue that. Finished it up. Hey, you guys, look at that. I really like that honey amber color. It's really cool looking. Flip it over so you can see this side. do you guys think? I matched it pretty good. I think this color actually looks better. That's just my opinion though. All right, here's the original color on the bottom. I didn't even mess with it down here. So I matched it pretty well. But anyway, all right, so we thinned the handle down. I got dye all over my hands, guys. I don't have any gloves. Thinned it down, still kept that swoop. I wanted to keep it kind of thicker in here, and as it came down, I thinned it. To me, there's not really any point in thinning this down. It's really just for looks. But I think it looks cool like that, and it feels really good in the hand. So let's give it a toss. Guys, I'm not warmed up, so don't judge me. Just gonna take you guys along throwing it. This is the very first time I've ever thrown it. I know I worked on the handle before I threw it. I shouldn't have done that, but it is what it is, guys. And it wasn't a ton of work. So let's get into throwing this thing. Not bad, not bad. I did put some boiled linseed oil on the handle so the dye didn't come off. I had to like rub it in there really good. So it's a little slick right now, but it throws really well. Let me throw it again. Sorry guys, every time I start filming, someone calls me. Let's give it another throw. Not bad, not bad. I will say, I can definitely tell that that bit, it has a really hard point on the end. I don't know if you guys can see how fat that edge is right in there. It'll stick. It's just not the best sticking edge. It's more like a overall edge. So like chopping, splitting, or whatever. I don't know if I'd use this for splitting though. I mean, I could try it on a log, but this is more of a cutting profile to me. Let me show you guys something. Hear that? Already come loose. You saw it, 3 throws. And they label it as a throwing axe. They call it a tomahawk. It's loose already. Let me show you guys something, which is probably causing, this is why it's causing it to, you guys see all that space up in there? That's why it's moving up and down. Now look, now the space is gone. Now it's in the front. See it? The more I throw this, the looser and looser it gets. Let me show you guys something real quick. All right. See the axe up there? Watch this. Let me make sure the camera don't fall. See that? It's loose. In my opinion, what it looks like, the handle's not big enough for the head. It's thinned down too much. And it's not wide enough in here, okay? And it's not wide enough in here. And this handle is straight here, is straight in here, and then it's straight in here. I don't have a flare right here. So I'm not gonna be able to add wood. I'm not gonna be able to take this off and slide this down and have it come down, you know, to a wider handle. What I got is what I got. And there's just not enough wood here. and that's why it's loose. See right in there where it's started coming, it's like moving up and down, up and down. So, yeah, it sucks. I'd probably have to put a new handle on this. And the more and more I throw, it just loosening it up. Yeah, that's a shame. Try to top left. Yeah, I mean, that edge is, I mean, it's not doing anything. The edge isn't rolling over at all. I'm throwing it pretty hard. The edge isn't rolling over at all. That's what I like doing, guys. I like throwing axes really hard. You can tell if an axe is seated really well. If you throw an axe really hard and it stays, it's seated well. You can normally find out if an axe is seated really well or not if you throw it hard. Every time. Now I'm starting to warm up. Getting a little bit more accurate, warming up now. Yeah, that sucks, man. What'll happen is that this will just get loose and, you know, it'll just continue to get loose. And then when you throw it, you'll start feeling the head move when you throw it. I don't know if you guys noticed or not, that's kind of like a silhouette, that bullseye there. Yeah, it's a shame, guys. That's a real shame. Real shame. So now what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to source a handle for it. And that's gonna be fun trying to find a handle for this. But I can haft it. Haft a new handle on it. But the blade seems to be just fine, guys. I mean, I'm tossing this thing hard. Here, let me give it a real hard toss. Give it another one. One more. I got no rollover on the edge at all. Usually if I throw something that hard, I'll get rollover if it's too thin. Edge seems to be holding just fine. It's just a hafting, so. That sucks. That really sucks. Seems like this channel is gonna turn into fixing things all the time. That's okay though. I don't want to send it to you guys like that. The bit's a little warm for me throwing it, and you can feel it. It's warm from hitting the wood. But yeah, guys, I mean, that edge, I mean, look at it. You guys can see it. There's not a chip. Isn't it? No rollover. No rollover at all. None. So I'm not going to be able to do anything with this handle that came with it. And this is why I tell you guys not to work on the handle before you throw it. This is exactly why I put all that time and effort working on this handle to thin it and do all that. And I didn't touch anything up in here when I was thinning it. You saw it was all in here. So that's why I tell you guys, don't work on your handles until you throw your axe. Another way I like testing bits, guys, throw it underhand. Stuck. All right, here we go, guys. Let me show you something really quick now. Okay, see how it's moved down now? See where it was? Now it's starting to move down. Here's what I'm gonna try to do. Maybe, I might be able to get away with it. We'll see. Let me see if I can move it down a hair. Man, you're talking about a 14-inch axe at that point. I might be able to take this steel barrel wedge out, knock it down some. No, I'm still gonna have space in areas. Yeah, that's not gonna work, guys. You see now it's starting to move down. You can see where it was before, and now it's starting to move down the handle. Yeah, it's just, the handle wasn't big enough, guys. Wasn't big enough. A little disappointed. I'll get it to where it don't move, and then we'll rethrow it. But yeah, you guys can see all that space in there now. See all that space under there? Like, it's not moving now. See how it's not moving? But look at all that space. You're not gonna fill that in. If you look at the handle, it's the same as it goes down, and then it actually drops off here. The shoulder's about right here, but it's about the same all in there. And even if you dropped it down to here, you're losing, shoot, what is that? Probably 2 or 3 inches. You're gonna go down to a 12-inch axe with this. And by the time you hold the handle, the bit's gonna be down here. It's gonna be like right in here. Maybe like, yeah, right in this area. Nah, that's no good. So, sorry guys, that sucks. Unfortunately, guys, that's just how the cookie crumbles. That's what this channel's about, right? Finding stuff that works and finding things that don't work, finding problems with things. It is what it is. Head is off the handle. Okay, so I took it off, extremely easy. Look at that, steel barrel wedge is in, the wedge is still in there. All I'll do is just push it off. Extremely easy to come off, and that tells me right there that it wasn't seated correctly. This handle, in my opinion, would not work for this head, and the reason why is because there is no shoulder. It doesn't taper down and get wider as the handle goes down, so knob strikes, this head's gonna slide down. You hit the eye, it's gonna move up and come off the handle. So I would recommend to them, if they might want to consider getting some better wood, better handles. These handles aren't gonna, if it does stay on there, it's not gonna stay on there for very long. So I've got some handles that I got laying around that I think will work for this axe head. This one right here is not gonna work. We're just gonna have to toss it for now. It really sucks. I wanted to test this acacia wood out and see how it worked out. Maybe in the future we can put this on another axe. I don't know how we're gonna do that, but with no shoulder and it doesn't flare out, but we'll see. Maybe in the future we can use it. But let's get into hafting this axe head on some of the handles that I have over there and see which one it likes, and we'll go from there. So here's the handle that I chose. I have started working on it a little bit. I do have these little notches right here that are digging in this area, so I'm trying to just clear this area out so these little lugs can go down. But so far, not bad. It's not fitting bad at all. I'm gonna try to get it down all the way down here. I do have a shoulder to work with. It does flare out as it goes down, which is nice. So yeah, I think this one will work really well. I'm trying to decide whether or not I want to leave this handle like it is on here or not. It's kind of cool. Gives it a little bit of a different look than what it comes with. Maybe I'll just leave this handle on here like this, and if someone gets it and they don't like it, all they'd have to do is just cut it down to a hatchet size, 15, 17 inches. They can just cut it down where they want it. Thought that'd be kind of cool. I can go throw this thing. I think my elbow would be good enough to throw this. This isn't very heavy, but I don't know. I'm still debating on it, but it's a pretty cool handle. Thought it looked kind of cool. For some of you that are starting out learning how to haft, or maybe you know how to haft, maybe you know how to do this already, but this is just some helpful information. Get you a pencil, and when you go to seat your head where it's digging in at, just mark underneath the head where it's digging onto the handle, so that way you know where you need to thin back. See guys, I've already started thinning back in here and in here, okay, and that's exactly where that lug is hitting. And on the other side, see, it's exactly right there where that lug's hitting too. And I'll bring myself a mark down, and then that way I know what area I need to stay in. I've kind of already done it, but this is just a helpful tip if you're learning how to haft axes. I don't have any contact anywhere else that's digging, just in this area, so I'm only going to concentrate here and here to thin this out to get these lugs down, okay? I've been shaping and carving and fitting and hafting and all that. It fit. I've already got a kerf started, but it needs to come down a lot. And this right here will have to be redone, but I'm going to go ahead and cut my kerf. And I've got a wedge already, and we'll get this thing hafted and see what it does. Not sure about this handle length. I think I might chop it off. I don't know yet. All right guys, so we got this sat on the 24-inch handle. It's hafted, straight, ready to go, ready to be thrown. But I think I'm gonna cut this off. I will say guys, remember how I was telling you about when you do like cool designs on your handle like this? When you start smacking that knob, if you have to reseat a head or anything like that, you'll come into some trouble. I went ahead and was smacking that, and it cracked. And it cracked all the way into this eye. So eventually all this is gonna crack anyway. So might as well just go ahead and cut it down. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut this down to 17 inches. I think that'll make for a good throw-in axe. So let's cut it down. All right guys, here's the finished product. I cut the handle down, 17-inch handle. Put a little leather on top of it to give it a little bit of a look to it. So here we go, here's the final product. I will say that if you buy this axe, I would automatically go ahead and assume that this head is gonna come loose on that acacia wood handle they use. It's not wide enough. Now you might get lucky and you might get one that is wide enough and it may not come loose, but the one that I got, as you guys saw, after a few throws, that thing started coming loose. So pay attention to that if you happen to buy it. But this one right here, I'm gonna make a second video of me throwing this axe. I kind of had to change things up a little bit when that head came loose on that handle. So, but future video of me throwing this, but here's the final product. Tell me what you guys think. Not bad, 17-inch. The other handle that I had on it was 24, or this handle that I had on it was 24 inches. It just fell a little too long, so I cut it down to 17. I think that acacia handle was either 15 or 16, but 17-inch handle feels perfect for this axe. It really does. It feels really good in the hand. It feels like the weight is right where it's supposed to be for a 17-inch handle. So tune back in for part 2 when I go throwing this axe, but until next time guys, see ya.